Hi, and welcome back to OverHERD at Career Education. My name is Denny, and I have two awesome guests with us today. I have Boussy Fathallah and Allison Shaw from the College of Health Professions. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them and let them introduce themselves a little bit further, and maybe tell you a little bit about what they're majoring in and maybe some related matters. So whichever one of you would like to go first.
Hi, my name is Boussy Fathallah. I'm from Charleston, West Virginia, but both my parents are actually immigrants. I went to George Washington High School. I'm a senior health science major at Marshall University, and I'm also minoring in biology, chemistry, and English. And I'm also a Jaeger Scholar, the John and Betty Sue Kinzer class of 2021.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. Glad to have you on OverHERD Career Ed today. Allison, you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Allison. I'm a junior here at Marshall University, pursuing a bachelor's in health science with a minor in sociology. I'm from North Fork, West Virginia, and I'm a first generation college student. I'm a part of HISTA, and I'm a part of the graduating class of 2018 of Mount View High School.
Thank you so much, Allison. And I want to thank both of you again just for joining me on the podcast today. Of course, the podcast is it's a new twice monthly outreach from the Office of Career Education. And this is a segment that we call Student Spotlight. And it'd be pretty hard to have a student spotlight without incredible students like the both of you. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. Say without students, it'd just be a spotlight. So we need students for a student spotlight. So anyway, like I had told you, I've got a couple questions I want to go over, but of course I love free-form discussion, so we can just kind of see where this takes us. So my first question for you is, how did you arrive at your choice of major? So whoever wants to kick that off, how did you arrive at your choice of major?
Well, I was originally a biology pre-medicine major, and that's just what I heard for what people did that wanted to do medical school after college. And so that's why I had originally decided on that major. But then later on, I took my prerequisite classes, and I learned that I wanted to take like other classes in the biology sector that didn't really have anything to do with what I was really interested in, like ecology, and I really wanted to focus more on the health aspects. And one of my roommates was actually majoring in health sciences, so I asked her a little bit about the major and how she was liking it. And the very next semester, it was my second semester of junior year, I moved to the College of Health Professions and majored in health science, and I have absolutely loved it ever since.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. How about you, Allison?
I arrived at my decision of major actually pretty early. I knew from about 8th or ninth grade that I wanted to pursue public health. When I applied at Marshall and realized that there was no undergraduate public health program, I decided to consult with my academic advisor at the time about what the best avenue would be for me to take. And she decided, as well as my guidance counselor at the time, that pursuing health science would leave me open to different avenues of public health should I decide to pursue a career in it later, which I have arrived at that decision. And so, yeah, that's how I came to the decision on my major.
Excellent. And I know there's some really good things in that both of you had touched on, everything from perhaps reevaluating things if you have to, and also consulting people such as an academic advisor, people who can help you make those tough decisions. And that's one reason I love working at Marshall. I love working with students, and I'm sure almost everyone who works here feels the same way. So I always tell students, if you're not sure, come and talk to us. That's why we're here. I might jokingly say that's why we make the big bucks. But what I also kind of somewhat jokingly say is, we're a student service, and you've already paid for our services, so come and talk to us. So it's like one time what I did is I think if I remember correctly, I think I drove away from a drive-through. I left something behind. It's kind of like that same type of concept. You pay for it and you don't take it, and we don't want students to do that. So I always encourage students to reach out for people who can reach out to people who can help them. So here's a fun one. What are your plans for after graduation?
Well, my hope is to go to medical school after I graduate, but the reason why is I had an amazing opportunity that Marshall allowed me to do, and it was a fellowship in Portugal at the Centro Hospitalar de Universitario de Coimbra. And so I got to be in a hospital every single day, and it is a 2,000 bed hospital, so there were surgeries every single day. And my very first day, I actually got to see a brain biopsy and then a tongue tumor removal. And ever since then, it just like exposed me to all areas of different health professions, and I could not imagine pursuing anything else.
Okay, that's an incredible firsthand experience there, not just from the facility, but I mean, I hear wonderful things about Portugal, so that's incredible.
Yeah.
And I always tell students, just when you get opportunities like that, just take them. Sometimes that stuff can be once in a lifetime, so that's incredible. So how about you, Allison? What are your after graduation plans?
After graduation, I'd like to stick around Huntington and pursue my master's degree in public health here at Marshall. Beyond that, I'd probably explore my career in epidemiology. I'd like to study health disparities in the Appalachian region. Similar to Boussy, I had an experience from the end of 8th grade up until the time I graduated. I was a part of the Health Science Technology Academy of West Virginia, and I conducted an annual research along with my peers, my classmates at the time. And every year we presented it at our symposium, and that exposed me to some research opportunities, and that's kind of how I arrived at my decision of what kind of careers I'd like to explore after graduation.
That's incredible. One thing I love that you said is how much early preparation and how much early exploration that you did. And sometimes I think a student can do those things and still have questions. I mean, I've worked in career ed for a while, and sometimes I feel like the longer I get in my career, actually I have more questions than answers, and that can happen. But to me, it's not a reason to not explore, because I do think that the more information you get, the more opportunities you see are out there. I think it just helps you overall be more prepared. So you mentioned participation in HISTA. So did you ever get to work with David Cartwright or?
I did. Dr. Cartwright is wonderful. I'm a member of LSAMP here on campus as well, so I get to work with him quite often. He's great.
Yeah, my department, we've worked with Dr. Cartwright quite a bit. His wife, Carolyn Penn, was in my department as well. So hopefully they're listening to this. I'm giving them a nice little shout out. Just two very good people. So yeah, it sounds like you're good at locating awesome people on campus as well. So that's incredible. So I want to be careful when I ask question number 3, because I hate phrases like during these difficult times. I don't know about you, but every commercial break, I feel like I hear that during these challenging times. And I just want to throw my TV outside. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but I'll just say it. I'm sick of it. But things are kind of crazy right now, and even non-pandemic, a semester can be quite an interesting and very busy time at a university. So would you share some strategies that you use to help you remain focused during busy times?
I would say definitely keep a planner and write down everything that you have to do, monthly and weekly, and even daily if you need to, because it helps you stay on track. And even though it is very challenging times with COVID, I still recommend being very involved. There are a lot of virtual opportunities, from virtual shadowing to, I know the Health Science Society just did the American Public Health Association Climate Change Week, and we had a virtual painting session, a virtual movie, a virtual Jeopardy game, and so it was absolutely incredible. So that's what I really recommend.
I love all of that. Wonderful, wonderful advice. Do you have anything to add to the discussion, Allison?
Sure. I try to, when times are busy, prioritize things based on matter of importance. I feel that as a student, especially a working student, I have to make sure that I get everything done without overwhelming myself, which has been the biggest challenge so far in college. And I think just getting your things in order so that as they come up, you're not rushing and procrastinating, and you can have them out of the way so that you can kind of breathe a little easier. So I just definitely recommend prioritizing.
That's excellent, and I know one of the things I've had to learn in life is there's only so much of me to go around, so I have to be careful, A, what I commit to, but B, even once I have not overcommitted myself, once I've just regularly committed myself, still there are some things that are just more of a priority than others. So just learning those skills, and I mean, keeping a planner, I mean, that was huge as well. So just those little things. I mean, students listening to this, I don't know if you feel that university officials like myself tell you that over and over. There's a reason that we do, and I believe it's just that it works. And that's one reason we just are so adamant that students at least consider these methods for staying organized. Now, question number 4 I had down here, I was going to ask you if you can identify a struggle that you've overcome while in school. And like I said in the questions I'd sent out to you, it doesn't have to be too personal, so please don't feel that you have to share anything you don't want to share. But I know school's not an easy time, so I was hoping maybe if either one of you would want to share maybe if there's a certain struggle that you've been able to overcome while you've been in school.
Well, a struggle that I've had was that with COVID, a lot of my opportunities got canceled or just had to, keep moving forward with them. So I was doing research at a lab in the spring semester, and that got canceled. And then I was going to be doing the American Heart Association undergraduate summer research in the summer, and that also got canceled. But with that, I also realized that you just have to keep moving forward, and you have to look for other opportunities because there are hundreds of opportunities out there. So in light of that, I got to actually start telehealth access for seniors volunteering, and we get to provide seniors with devices, especially in the VA hospitals and low-income communities, so that they can access their doctors through telehealth.
Oh, that's incredible. And yeah, a lot of opportunities, I think kind of like what you were talking about there, a lot of opportunities, just much like a lot of the other things we do these days, have shifted to being virtual. And one that we talk to our students about a lot are micro internships. There's an organization called Parker Dewey, and there's another virtual outreach that I do. It's called Career Ed Live, and they're on the YouTube channel just like this is going to be. And we actually did, I think it was an over an hour-long interview with a representative from Parker Dewey. And micro internships, I think they tend to be between 10 and 40 hours, and they're all paid, which is great because not all internships are paid. So I really like what you said. That's something I try to tell students is that opportunities are still out there. A student from the College of Engineering, Morgan Johnson, she was on the podcast a month or 2 ago and had really, I think, really incredible advice about that too. Some of the opportunities she's been able to take advantage of this year. So I always just encourage students, don't just assume that nothing is happening right now because there are opportunities out there. So Allison, do you want to talk about a struggle if you would like, maybe from college or anything like that?
Since I've been in college, I feel like I've had just a few struggles.
Okay.
Most recently, it's definitely been related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Pre-COVID-19, things were still a little difficult. I'm a first-generation college student. I'm also a working college student. So for a period of time, I did work 3 jobs at one time. Just because I'm here, I just want to make it work. And so before COVID, maybe that. After COVID, it's been actually maintaining my schedule because now I'm a virtual student and I still have to show up in my work environments. And so although I'm protecting myself by, of course, sanitizing and being careful, it's still a little harder because I have to leave campus for work, and that puts other people at risk. And so that's been the most recent struggle I've had to overcome, just trying to keep everybody safe while still working and still attending my classes, doing the best I can.
Absolutely. And I really like what you touched on there. For me, it's important just to keep moving ahead and just doing what we do. And that's something I've tried to tell myself. I think my department is great at this. I work with some amazing colleagues in career ed. I think the university has done a really good job of this as well, but I think also our students are, because like I said, the phrase I hate, these are unusual times, but a lot of things still need done regardless. And I've seen a lot of students here rise to the challenge and not only get things done, but do things with a very good attitude. In fact, I'd go as far as to say there are a lot of students I know here who have better attitudes than some adults I know outside of work. And that's, to me, is really incredible. So, my hat's off to every Marshall University student who's out there just chugging along, and things are crazy, but things will be better on the other side of it. I believe that. I hope and believe it. My old boss, before I came to Marshall, used to have a saying. If I say something, he'd say, "Are you trying to convince me or you?" And I'm like, "Trying to convince me or yourself?" I'm like, hopefully I'm not just trying to convince myself when I say that. But I do think there will be normal times again on the other side of this. But until we get there, we just have to have to keep chugging. So like I say, hats off to every Marshall student who's doing that. So just keep up the good work. So the last question I have for you is, what advice do you have either for other College of Health Profession students or just any other Marshall students who might listen to this? Just what advice of any type could you provide?
Well, a saying that I even have like written in my room is self-discipline and confidence can turn any dream into reality. And I really live by that because you have to work hard if you want to achieve. And like I think that's just so important to do. And then having that confidence in yourself and believing in yourself will help you reach that point and your ultimate goals.
That's excellent. I love that. I love it. So Allison, what do you have for us?
For College of Health Professions students, I would definitely encourage you to just keep pushing forward. We have some wonderful professors in the department. Dr. Logan, Dr. Pasiolis, they're all wonderful contacts over there. They're wonderful professors. If you ever get the opportunity to take one of their classes, I strongly encourage you to do so. Marshall students, I would honestly just say keep your resources and your contacts on campus at an all-time high. I know that during COVID it's a little bit challenging to meet with people and get to know people, but there are still ways to do that. And I think it's important to have contacts on campus that you can reach out to during these difficult times. I know that we're tired of hearing that they're difficult times, but we do still need those people on campus. There are resources out there. One that I strongly recommend is the Counseling Center over in Pritchard Hall. As a Marshall student, you have free access to that. And I strongly encourage you to just explore your options here on campus, make some friends. And I know that this is hard to do right now, but there are still opportunities out there.
There's still a lot of opportunities, and I know some new cool things coming down the pipeline, but also even things like HERD. When you go on there and look, even nowadays there are events on there happening every day, and when it comes to the time to get involved in campus, I'm in career ed. I'm always thinking about building that resume and developing those skills, which is important, but do it for you as well. You never know. Someone at an event, you might be the best friend that you've never met yet, and how will you know unless you put yourself out there? And I always tell students too that in college, I think you have more opportunities right at your doorstep than really any other point in time in life. Like me, they're there. I feel like when you get to be my age, being a working adult, they're there, but I feel like I have to go out and I really have to hunt them down. Whereas I feel like at a university, they surround you. There's just opportunities everywhere. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities. So, does anyone have any parting words? This is optional because I think the discussion's been great so far, but does anyone else have any other parting words for our listeners?
Just work hard and you'll get through these times, and I think things are going to be looking up.
Go HERD.
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in again to OverHERD at Career Education. Again, OverHERD at Career Education is a new twice monthly outreach from the Office of Career Education, and we hope to see you back here next time.